show today. Lots of picks. We're going to get into the Ncaa tournament with all our picks. We got a whole bunch of them. If you listen to mine and Dynamite's, David, we went through every game and picked every game and then gave our best bets. Be sure to follow that. Find that on YouTube, Facebook, Greenlight Network, or greenlightnetwork.org. But we're going to do our individual picks today. So I got a whole host of games I'm betting on for the Ncaa tournament. But first, let's get into some of the other sports. We got a little boxing today, some soccer, not a huge slate tonight and tomorrow, and then one NBA game. So let's start out in the boxing. A couple of UK guys. We're going to go with Lee McGregor, big-time prospect, a lot of power, tough guy. Lee McGregor minus 150 versus Kareem Jaffe. We think Kareem won't be able to handle the power here. He's been knocked out twice before in the 4th and 5th round. Lee really packs a big punch, really aggressive, so he should be able to take him out. So the minus 150 by KO seems like a pretty decent bet. And then Maxie Hughes, plus 150 on points versus Paul Highland Jr. A matchup of, I'd say, contender status guys, young guys take on to see if they're on a real professional level. These two will match up to see who comes out on top. I think Maxie Hughes really is probably the better fighter here, but neither of these guys really are knockout artists, but they're both really solid chins. Neither of them really have been knocked out, so I think Maxie Hughes the better fighter overall. Plus 150 on points, really good value there. All right, let's move into soccer. Let's start out in the Premier League. Only 2 games tonight and tomorrow. We're going to go with Leeds on the three-way, plus 195 versus Fulham. Really like Leeds here. They dominated Fulham last year in the championship. I see no reason why this would be different here, even if Fulham is playing well. Leeds plus 185 on the three-way, really like. And then Saturday, we're going to ride our favorite team to watch that can't score goals, Brighton Hove Albion, minus 155 on the three-way versus Newcastle. Just think Brighton will win this game. They looked pretty solid last week. Hopefully they can get some goals because they do play really entertaining football. We'll see if Newcastle brings any life. They were a little bit better last week, but I think Brighton wins this game and pulls it out overall. All right, let's go to Serie A. We're going to take Parma today, coming off a pretty defensive performance last week versus cellar dwellers Genoa. Parma plus 145 on the three-way here, so Parma plus 145 versus Genoa. This really is a bad game. These are the 2 worst teams in Serie A, but I think Parma is better than Genoa, and they played a pretty solid game last week. Let's see if those goals keep on coming. On to Bundesliga, we're going to take Dortmund plus 185 versus a team we've been riding lately, but we think this will be a good matchup, but we think Dortmund's finally found their rhythm. Dortmund plus 185, both teams to score versus Cologne. So this should be an entertaining game. We think Dortmund will come out on top, but they might do that slow start that they've been known to do this year, and Cologne might get up on them, but I think Dortmund will come out the winner overall. So we got a nice little Dortmund plus 185 win, both teams to score. All right, that's all in the Bundesliga. La Liga, we got one today, one tomorrow. We're going with Real Betis plus 220 win, both teams to score versus Levante. Really like Real Betis here. The only chance, maybe they let in a cheap goal by Levante, but I think at this price, plus 220, Real Betis can sometimes get a little sloppy and opened up on defense. Levante, not the best scoring side, but they can counterattack you. So I think Real Betis wins pretty easy. Both these teams will score. The plus 220, really too good to pass up. And then on Saturday, we're going to go with Celta Vigo, plus 225, draw no bet versus Real Madrid. We think Real Madrid might be in one of their sloppy performance. The more likely a result is probably a draw, so that's why we take this draw no bet and not hit it on the three-way in the plus 3s. We think there's pretty good value here. Celta Vigo's been a pretty solid home team, so Celta Vigo plus 225, draw no bet. All right, on to the NBA, and we go only one game tonight. full slate. Just didn't like the spreads in any of the games today, except for this one. San Antonio Spurs -4 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. San Antonio's been a really, really solid road team. Cleveland has really fallen off. They haven't been as good as they were to start the season. So I think San Antonio really, really wins this one pretty easily, especially with a West versus East team. The West has just dominated the East this year. So San Antonio Spurs -4 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, on to the NCAA tournament. And we're about to take the one that just is about to tip off here. Florida +1.5 versus Virginia Tech. Really, really tough matchup, but I don't understand why Florida's getting the plus here. I think they're the better team overall talent-wise, so I'm just going to ride Florida +1.5, even though these two teams are sort of similar in how they've played all year long, really up and down. Get a good game, get a bad game, but I think the value rides with Florida getting +1.5. We're going to go with two bets with Utah State. We're going to take Utah State money line +165 versus Texas Tech, and Utah State +4 versus Texas Tech. Another toss-up game here, but just really, really like Utah State here. I think they're a really, really good team. Texas Tech has been really sort of disappointing this year. I thought they'd be really much better, but they only really have one scorer on the team, so I think Utah State can take them here at the +4. Next, we're going to move on to Oral Roberts plus the 15. Me and Dynamite David talked about this one on our show the other day where we picked all the games. I think both of us think Oral Roberts will be able to stick around here. We're both concerned with how Ohio State tends to let teams back in the game. So that +15 just seems like a little bit too much. I'm not going to go with the money line here. I think our colleague Dynamite David might, but Oral Roberts +15 versus Ohio State. We're going to take the Cleveland State versus Houston under 134.5. Really think Cleveland State will struggle to score versus Houston. I think Houston probably will be able to get the points, but I don't think it'll be enough to cover that 134, especially when I think Cleveland State will probably be in the 40s or 30s, 40s or 50s here. They might be in the 30s as well with the way that Houston defense plays, but I think that 134 under is a pretty solid bet. Next, we're going to take North Texas, two ways here. North Texas +240 money line versus Purdue. North Texas +7 versus Purdue. I talked about my hatred of Purdue, and I think they'll play really down to this competition. I think this will be a really close game, and I think North Texas can sneak it here. Really like North Texas here, +7 and +240 money line. Next, we're going to go to San Diego State -3 versus Syracuse. Just think San Diego State's a much better team here. I think Syracuse was lucky to get into this tournament, and I think San Diego State will wipe the floor with them. A lot of value in that -3. And next, we're going to go with our team Winthrop from North Carolina. Winthrop +230 money line versus Villanova. Winthrop +6.5 versus Villanova. Just love this Winthrop team. Villanova's been hurt. I don't think they'll have what it takes to get out of the first round here, and I think Winthrop's just a much better team here. So a lot of value in the +230, +6.5. All right, that's our show. Those are our picks. Be sure to follow us on greenlightnetwork.org, Greenlight Network on Facebook and YouTube. I'm GLN Champ 5 on Twitter and Instagram. That's our show, and we're out.